Puck dropped October 4th Friday, so new faces, new team. Let's just get your thoughts on the season and what it's been like so far.
It's nice to see so many of these familiar faces back here at Toscano. We're excited. This is our fourth week, I think, since we started skating. We started the Tuesday after Labor Day, and I'm excited about the group. You know, we do have 14 new faces, but same token, we have 14 experienced veterans coming back. And, you know, of those 14 new faces, 2 are undergraduate transfers who have played college hockey before, and 2 are graduate transfers who have played a lot of college hockey. So we'll be, intertwining, mixing some freshmen, true freshmen in as well. But I like the team speed that we have, that I've watched early on here. I think we're a quicker team than we were a year ago, and I like our depth, and I'm excited to get going against Colgate on October 4th.
So we're all done for questions.
Is this team, can you compare this team like to the Connor League freshman years at all? Or because of the fact that some of the newbies have experience, it's not quite as guys getting their feet wet like they had way back then?
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison because that was a really big freshman class as well. However, I don't think we were quite where we wanted to be as a program just yet when all of those guys came in. We still have a lot of experience back on this team, and I think some guys that are really hungry to show that they are, great players in this league. So it's a little bit different, Bob, but I definitely can see the comparison with so many new faces.
How have Huddy and Spets stepped up in their leadership role, Cav? And are there other guys who have been here who have stood out in your mind as far as being leaders?
Yeah, I think they've been great. This is the third year in a row we've had players who had an opportunity to go wherever they want, and they've come back as fifth-year seniors. It was Roman Canal 3 years ago. It was Harrison Reese and Jake Flynn last year, and now, with Hudson and Spetsy coming back, as fifth-year seniors. It means a lot to me. It means that this university and this program means an awful lot to them, and they want to finish their careers here as Huskies.
Cav, I wonder, you had a strong finish at the end last year, having to beat Vermont in the regular season finale, then beat them in the playoffs and taking BC to the brink. For the 14 returners, does that strong finish have a carryover effect into the offseason and into the beginning of the season?
Oh, I think so. I think there's no question about it. And a lot of the players that we're bringing in have played a lot of junior hockey too. So, while they're young and they're new to our program and how we do things, they've still played a lot of hockey. I think they'll come in, and you've seen it across college hockey with a lot of teams that the freshmen can have a big impact on your team. So, there'll be some growing pains early, but by mid-November, I think they will have settled in pretty well.
Kevin, when last season ended, what was your checklist of things that you wanted to do? How did you go about it? What did you want to change? What did you want to bring in? What was your off-season plan?
Yeah, it's interesting because normally, in the past, in April and May, you would do a deep dive and analysis on your team and where you were good and where you were bad. It was really a different type of off-season for us last year because of the way the transfer portal is now, and having lost some players that maybe you're not expecting to lose. We lost some personnel. Joe Ferris, who had been with me and our director of ops, moved back home, to the Midwest and took a job out there. And Mike Pereira, who did a great job for us, got the head coaching job at Choate. So not only did we have to replace players, but we had to replace personnel. So that's what really took up a lot of our time, was filling with holes that we thought we had within the program. And it wasn't until probably July that we sat down and said, okay, where can we be better as a team? And how does this team, what can we do with this team, speculating how we think they're going to be as players, and where can we take advantage of our opponents, and what kind of team do we want to be? And I thought Hudson and John Spets were excellent in that. We had some like bi-weekly meetings through the summer, and really I took a lot of their input. You know, with Tyler and I sat down and listened to a lot of what they had to say, and we implemented a lot of that with what we thought we needed to be better. So that's kind of how our off season broke down.
Do you usually get input from players along those lines?
Yeah, I like to get input from players. I think that's important. I was just reading an article. I actually put it up in the locker room today about the kid Neighbors, the Giants wide receiver, who's a rookie there, but he saw something on film and he went to Brian Dable with it, and turned into a touchdown. But because sometimes as players you see things that coaches don't see. There's little idiosyncrasies, and I think it's very important to empower your players and encourage them, to give input. Now, do you always listen? No, but I think you have to have that healthy conversation. I think all good programs do.
How's Nick fit in on your staff, and what have you had him doing?
He's been great. It's been really a seamless transition. He's certainly, one of the top recruiters in the country. Northern Michigan actually had the top recruiting class. That's what kind of drew me to him last year. And with him coming on, we had one kid that was committed there and one transfer from there that have both been great additions to our program. So he's going to probably work with the penalty kill and really spearhead a lot of the recruiting efforts.
What's the skill set that makes somebody a top recruiter, that makes somebody a really good recruiter?
Well, I just think it's hard work. It's being very personal. And hey, Tyler Helton's a great recruiter. I think, our class was either 5 or 6 in the country last year, and that was primarily, Mike Pereira certainly had something to do with that, but Tyler was an integral part of bringing this class here to UConn, that we have this freshman class. So I'm fortunate where, it's not like I have one recruiting coordinator. I have, a couple assistants who are pretty experienced, and they get to know a lot of the coaches out there, a lot of the advisors, and they have their ear to the ground, and they're also very good at evaluating talent. So, but I think it's a lot of hard work. It's being out there, it's being personable, and convincing kids to come to UConn.
You lost a lot on the blue line. Who's stepped up so far, Kathy, this preseason?
Well, I think Nick Caravan, who's a grad transfer from Princeton, has been excellent, so far. Thomas Sinio is doing a great job. He's got some experience. Spetsy's obviously got a lot of experience, but Viking coming in here as a transfer, he played a lot of minutes for Northern Michigan last year. He's kind of had a seamless transition in here. Jack Pascucci had a strong year for us last year, and then we have the 3 freshmen we brought in, and Trey Scott, Kai Janvaraya, and Kevin Fitzgerald. We've brought those 3 in, and Bauer Swift is back, and I know I'm probably forgetting something. Yeah, Owen Simpson as well. So, we have 10 right now, and we've actually had a couple injuries, so I'm glad we have some depth back there.
Is it harder for new guys to assimilate themselves to what you want to do defensively than up front?
Yes, I think so. I think it's always a tougher or longer learning curve coming into college as a defenseman as it is a forward. You skate hard, you finish checks, you compete. There's not as much thinking as there is on defense, that's for sure.
Are you worried at all about the depth up top, just only having 15 forwards?
Will it help if I worry about it? No, I think 15 forwards is a pretty good number, especially when all 15 can play. So I'm not really worried about that.
Hockey used to be particularly strong last year. It's always strong, particularly strong last year. What's your assessment, about new talent coming into the league this season?
Well, I don't think it's going to change much. I think that, there's still a lot of talent coming in, and with all the teams, I think everybody's probably improved. You do a good job when your league is that strong. It helps certainly recruiting players. Like, players want to play in this league. So, and not only that, but there's just a lot of good coaches in this league. If you look around, there's a lot of experienced coaches in this league, and we all kind of have a feel for how each other play. So it's not like you're going to surprise anybody, week in and week out.
How's your goaltending?
I think it's pretty good. We brought in Ty Muselik, who's a transfer from UNH, and before he got hurt last year, he had some big wins over BU and Quinnipiac. Callum Tung is a pretty highly touted freshman. He came out of British Columbia. He's got great size and excellent playoff last year in British Columbia. And Tommy Heaney, I didn't know a lot about him coming in, but I've been pretty impressed with him since he's been here.
What was he dealing with last year?
It was a knee injury. It was something that had to get scoped, but he tried to play through it all year long. He certainly, knock on wood, looks healthy right now.
So you got Jake Percival, Connecticut kid, has been solid for 2 years, junior year here. Where do you think he could take his game? Because, he's been pretty steady for 2 straight years.
He's going to be an important piece of our team. His energy, his compete level is always really, really high. I think he's going to take another step. He's been snake bitten a little bit. I don't know if anybody's hit more posts since I've been here than him, but he's a great defensive player. He's an excellent penalty killer, and I see him adding more offensively this year as well.
Any other returning guys standing out to you so far?
I think Joey Muldowney and Ryan Tattle have kind of picked up where they left off last year. I thought they were really strong for us down the stretch. Tristan Frazier. Oliver Flynn's doing a nice job. He's had a really good preseason so far. So, those are the guys up front. And as I said, I think Thomas Sinio on the back end has, played pretty well this preseason as well.